Hey guys, what's going on? This is your old pal CHH. Come on in. Welcome back to Horror Blu-rays. I want you to own. We've got 10 more Horror Blu-rays I want you guys to own. And I know it's been a while. I try not to milk the show because, you know, it's tough. We go through a lot of physical media with these. We do 10 titles and, you know, I'm constantly reviewing physical media as it is. So I really have to start digging through the collection to see, you know, what's what and what I think is going to work for an episode. I try to theme them, but usually it's just whatever I like, and I can't remember if I've talked about. By the way, somebody has requested, a few people have requested that we bring back lost titles from my collection, which is something I really enjoy doing, and so I'm really going to try to put together another one. And I think the cool thing about lost titles from my horror movie collection, I'm going to call it horror movie collection instead of horror Blu-ray collection, because I feel like some of these are DVDs, and I think a lot of you guys would enjoy that. So that's coming back as well. You know, I've recorded so many videos that I've actually had to try to stop because I have so much on there. So now it's time to get back to work a little bit. So without further ado, guys, we're going to do 10 horror Blu-rays once you own, but I've got a bonus. This just came out. I got this yesterday. I just want to put it over. I got the Blu-ray for The First Omen. Now, I'm recommending this in terms of the movie being good. Right, I don't know if this Blu-ray is exceptional or not. It does have the director's version of the film, the director's vision. Excuse me, not director's version. It has the director's vision. Documentary with that. Signs in the First Omen documentary, The Mystery of Margaret, where they have a cast and crew interview segment. So, good movie. I was gonna say there shouldn't really be a director's version because this movie was pretty insane and gross, so you'd have figured all that stuff would have been cut. My point is, this was a really good movie, and I really like The First Omen, so there it is. It could be my second favorite one, frankly. I like Omen 2. Omen 2 is really good. Omen 1 is a masterpiece, in my opinion. I think The Omen is... I get in trouble, so I'm not even going to say it. But my point is, I think The Omen is an incredible movie. Incredible movie. So, without further ado, guys, here we go. Number 1 is a Wes Craven movie called Cursed. So this is a Scream Factory release. I like this movie a lot. This has Christina Ricci in it. And this movie has a wild history that they talk about on the special features. This was a good Blu-ray release from Scream Factory. Cursed was a mid-2000s horror movie about a killer werewolf. And it's got Christina Ricci and the guy who plays Mark Zuckerberg. That guy. And what was that movie? Friend Request, whatever the hell it was called, The Social Network. But this was a good movie. I like it. It's kind of not messy because it's shot very well. It's made very well, but like apparently half the cast was recasted. Skeet Ulrich was supposed to be in this movie, then he got completely pulled. Dimension spent a ton. This movie didn't make money because Dimension changed things halfway through. They told, this was Wes Craven. Yeah, by the way, this is a Wes Craven film, by the way, produced by Kevin Williamson as well. He didn't like the cast or whatever was going on, so he stopped Wes. They had to restart the entire movie over. There's been rumors that the footage exists with all the Skeet stuff, but I don't think I did a review for this, but I don't think that stuff is on here. With that being said, though, I love this movie. I think Christina Ricci is amazing in Cursed, and the cool thing is there's a Friday the 13th connection here. Derek Mears, who we all know as Jason Voorhees from Friday the 13th, 2009, plays the werewolf. And the werewolf design is great, as you can see right there. But what's crazy about this is there's this moment in here where the werewolf flips the camera off, and it is the funniest thing you'll ever see. But in reality, Cursed had a cursed history, no pun intended. But I will say this. I think it's a fun, entertaining horror film that never bores you. You'll be entertained the whole way through. And if you like werewolves, I mean, you're going to get your fix here. So I'm a big fan of this movie. I highly recommend it from Scream Factory. This was a good release. And you will learn about the behind-the-scenes fiascos that ensued on there. So check that out. Next up, I don't even know if you would call this a horror movie, but Scream Factory put it out, so I'm justifying it. And I want to talk about this movie because it's such a bizarro movie that I don't really know what to think about it. Like, I like it, but it is wild. The movie is called The Lawn Mower Man. This is another Scream Factory title. The Lawn Mower Man is just weird. It's about a guy, Jeff Fahey, plays kind of a mentally challenged person a little bit, like he's slow, and it all turns into him becoming like this ingenious guy wrapped in this weird sci-fi movie. It screams 90s. You will never see... I dare say there's not a movie that feels more 90s than The Lawn Mower Man. And it turns into this insane sci-fi movie. It's crazy. You have to see it to believe it. I like it, though. I like it a lot. I love Jeff Fahey, man. I mean, he did a lot of great stuff. But Lawn Mower Man is one of those movies that I think it's just, like, defined a time. And, like, it was a big deal. There was Super Nintendo games for Lawn Mower Man and things like that. For the people that are older than me, they're like, dude, I lived it. This came out when I was born. But I'm glad that Scream Factory put this out. This is a good release. A lot of great features on here. And it's just a bizarre movie. I think you owe it to yourself to watch this. Really, really cool movie. And I think there was even a sequel. I have not seen the sequel. You guys have to let me know if Lawn Mower Man 2 is worth it. I have Lawn Mower Man on Super Nintendo in the box. I have the box for it. So I'm a real Lawn Mower Man fan. Next up, guys, this is one that came out, but I feel like it didn't slip through the cracks. People picked it up, but whenever I look at people's Scream Factory collections, if I see their stuff, for some reason, I don't see this title in their collection, and I don't understand why. I like this movie a lot. It's a slasher film from New Line Cinema before Elm Street came out. This was the very first horror movie, I think, that New Line was involved in. And it's got Jack Palance and Donald Pleasance in it. I'm talking about Alone in the Dark. This is a cool movie. I like this movie a lot. It's an early 80s slasher film. Falls into that category of everything going on. Like I said, you got Donald Pleasance in here. It's a really cool, like, kind of a, crazies on the loose type movie. It's got some really eclectic sensibilities to it, though. It's a really interesting slasher film. I think it's definitely something that not only should be in everybody's collection, but you should already have it. And it had an iconic poster back in the day with the hand holding the axe in the night. I mean, just iconic. And this was a good release. This was directed by Jack Shoulder, Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2. Some really good features on here. Jack talked all about making this movie in his interview. This was a really good release, but I feel like it's kind of slept on. And I really don't get that, because for a long time, Alone in the Dark was not a movie people were talking about coming to high def. It was the movie. I mean, if you guys remember around 2015, 16, 17, like, this was the movie. Even longer, 2018, 19, 20. I think this came out in 2020. I think it did. It might have been 2021, might have been 2020. But my point is, this was the movie people were like, we need a high-definition release of this, because people would talk about it, like, dude, it's a good movie, blah, blah, blah. Well, it finally came, and I was super excited. I reviewed it, but I'll look at people's collections today, and I'm like, where's Alone in the Dark? Like, you got to have that. So, yeah, Alone in the Dark, really cool slasher film. It's definitely, it should be a staple, if not already is. Next up, I want to talk about this because I don't know if I've ever shown anything from Grindhouse releasing before. When I was doing this episode, I said, we need to have something from Grindhouse in here, right? So I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do, and there's a lot of good titles, and I think these are still available where you can go on eBay and get them at reasonable prices. They're not overly expensive, but if I was going to show one Grindhouse title for you guys, it's definitely The Beyond. I want to show The Beyond. Really cool releases. These come in side-loading cases. They come with CD soundtracks and, really nice high-def Blu-rays. The Beyond, I think, is probably top 2 or 3 of Lucio's movies. I think it's Zombie and City of the Living Dead for me, but some days it's Zombie and The Beyond. That's just my reality because of how good this movie is. This is just such a dark, gross movie. It's one of the more legendary Italian horror films. I think this is how high of a regard I put The Beyond in. I think The Beyond is as good as almost anything Dario Argento's done, if not better. And I know that's going to be extremely blasphemous, but I maybe not, because I think my audience has figured out by now, as much as I love Dario, and he's got movies like, my favorite movie from Dario is The Creeper's Cut of Phenomena. But if you ask me who's the god, who's the king of Italian horror, his name is Lucio Fulci. And the thing that's so great about The Beyond, and as I've said this on a number of occasions, The Beyond runs on its own frequency in terms of what's reality and what's not. Lucio does not play by anybody's rules, and that's what makes The Beyond so legendary. There are visuals in this movie that I don't want to spoil it too much, but they're painful things to see on film, but they are nightmarish in the sense that I think subconsciously I've thought about this stuff before, and it's truly haunting. So I look at The Beyond as one of the greatest Italian horror films of all time. Highly recommend it. So yeah, this is Grindhouse releasing, guys. You can go online and try to get this at a reasonable price. If the question is, well, Christian, does it come out on 4K? I don't know that Grindhouse has done anything on 4K. Maybe they have, but I don't think so. You know, off memory, I don't think they do. I think I would have known about it, or I should have known about it, but, you know how I am, guys. I'm forgetful, so I could be off. So, yeah, that's a great one, guys. If above anything else, watch The Beyond, but that's a great release, and the picture quality on this is sensational. I think this was a 4K scan from the negative. So, yeah, anyway. Next up, guys, I've got a Steelbook recommend for you guys. I want to talk about these movies because we just got the announcement that I think they're doing another one. I know they announced that they're doing another Hell House, but I'm pretty sure there's another one of these coming. This was just a good release, guys. This is the Steelbook of VHS 94, 99, and 85. I watched 85 again the other day. Like, I don't like the route that they went for it, but the reason I'm going to recommend this is because more people than not, I'm the outlier on this, more people seem to have enjoyed 85 as much, if not more, than 94 and 99. And so, like, I'm trying to look at the greater good of things here, because I don't want to just say don't watch it, dismiss it because I don't like it. That's not the way this should work, or I want it to work. So that being said, I wanted to recommend this release, which is still readily available. You can get this on Walmart.com, no problem. This is the new Steelbook that came out with 3 movies, like I said, 94, 99, and 85. All 3 of them, we'll exclude 85 because I said it's not bad. I just don't like the route they went myself. But in terms of 94 and 99, there are some great segments in 94 and 99. In 94, there's a segment with a girl. Let me just set the scene up for you. She is at a funeral parlor where there's like a proceeding where people are coming in and just, sit down for a second, pay their respects to the deceased, and leave. And nobody's really showing up. The weather's really bad. Some guy's here. She's videoing this thing for the people that, asked her, that paid for the ceremony to be videoed. The power goes out. You hear some rustling. She gets a flashlight. She shines the flashlight. She's looking around, or she turns the light on the home video camera. Boom, the casket's open. There's no body in it. What ensues is one of the best zombie sequences I've seen in the modern era. And I think that highly of that in 94. In 99, there's this really bizarro game show that they do, which has a crazy ending, which I don't even want to talk about. But then before that, in 99, there is a burial scene, which was sensational. So 94 and 99, guys, I think were just good, really good. So yeah, I want to recommend that. And like I said, 85 wasn't my cup of tea, but more people seem to like it. Maybe you're seeing the reflectiveness on this, so I may as well say, guys, I went online and I got some of those Steelbook protectors. I'm pretty careful with my stuff, but I do like the aesthetic of having the Steelbooks kind of taken care of, because they do scratch extremely easily, just putting them in the shelves with the other movies. So I may as well try to keep my stuff looking halfway decent in terms of that. So moving on, guys, this is a hidden gem. Big fan of this. Malcolm McDowell and Madeline Smith. If you don't know who Madeline Smith is, she was in a lot of movies in the 80s. She did a movie called Funny Farm with Chevy Chase, which I absolutely loved. I blind bought this based off of the names alone, and it's a Vinegar Syndrome Blu-ray. It might have had a slip when it came out. I don't know. You'd have to go online to look into that if you're somebody that likes to get all that stuff. It's a movie called The Caller. Malcolm McDowell and Madeline Smith. This was a really great, like, uncomfortable, suspenseful movie, where Madeline Smith's at home at night. She gets a knock on the door from Malcolm McDowell's character. He just needs to use the phone, but he kind of just lingers, and he kind of tries to keep talking to her, and she's trying to push him out. But then he gets in her ear a little bit more, and then he gets inside, and like, you get where I'm going with this. So I'll shut up there because I don't want to go too deep into it. I thought it was a really good movie. I thought it was a hidden gem, and as a matter of fact, when I got it, I remember watching this, and I was saying to myself, why did I not ever hear this? And it's partially my fault, because typically when I find actors I like, I try to dive into their filmographies, but I hadn't done that with this, and so I watched this blind bought and just thought it was sensational. So when it comes to Vinegar Syndrome titles, this would be in my top 5 or 6, I think. Maybe top 10 for sure. But it's a good movie. I think it's a great suspense movie. And I think it's incredible 80s flair on here. So The Caller, guys, Malcolm McDowell and Madeline Smith, really, really good movie. Please get your hands on that. As a matter of fact, that's the first time I think I've ever talked about that, which is a crime, I know. Guys, I just got around to watching this one a few months ago. I didn't watch it when I first got it because I was just overwhelmed with stuff to do at the time. But and I don't know how many people have bought this or even watched this. So I'll keep this very, very brief and spoiler-free. But I do want to put over Hell High from Arrow Video. I thought this was a sensational Blu-ray release that they did. And I love the theme of it. This was one of those later 80s slashers, which... I'm learning that there's actually some standouts from that time. There's one of them that I really like that Vinegar Syndrome put out. I think it was from 88 or 89. The title of it's slipping me, but it's like a college mascot slasher movie. I have it, but I can't remember the name of it. When high school football hero John, Breaking Bad's Christopher Cousins, which, yeah, I did recognize him, quits the team, he winds up falling in with a group of outcasts led by the sadistic Dickens. With a willing new recruit in tow, the gang's youthful hijinks soon spiral into a night of abject horror when they decide to play a cruel prank on the home of their teacher, Miss Storm, who, unbeknownst to the youngsters, harbors a dark and tormented past. So yeah, it's really a good idea for a slasher film. It feels very late 80s in terms of the look and style of it, but there's almost like this weird little Simpsons aspect to it that I liked, in terms of like the aesthetic of the movie as well, and the way things just kind of look and felt. So yeah, I really did enjoy this. This was actually a really charming, good slasher movie, and I should have watched it sooner. So I'm just coming to you guys now about that with Hell High. Good slipcover on there. There's a lot of embossing. I think this is Justin Osborne artwork. Which, if you get Justin Osborne artwork, you've got good artwork. It's that simple. So yeah, high recommend on that. Guys, this one I want to talk about. I kind of talked about it in another video, but I just want to get across that I genuinely enjoyed the movie now. It grew on me like a weed, by the way. Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, I think is a 80s comedy just juggernaut in terms of like the pop culture relevance and things like that, because what's so great about Mistress of the Dark is there's characters in the movie that you'll recognize from other huge 80s films, like the woman who's working at the rental car thing in what's the Thanksgiving movie, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles is in Mistress of the Dark and things like that. So it's iconic. But I bought this after I finally watched it top to bottom on Joe Bob's Drive-In show, and then I did a whole video about this, about why did Scream Factory not do any more hard box releases. This was the last one, kind of. I mean, they kind of came out at the same time as the Halloween ones, besides the 6, 7, and 8, but excluding that. But yeah, this was actually really good. And like I said, it's a hard box release that actually has, new artwork done for it and everything, and it's a collector's edition Blu-ray. It's a great looking Blu-ray. This was a 4K scan from the negative, so why they didn't do this as a 4K, I don't know. But the fact is, they did it as a Blu-ray, and that's really good enough. I mean, especially when it's a 4K scan. I've been meaning to do a video on what's more important, the format or the restoration or the scan, because I think there's a big debate there, or there's a lot of arguments for both sides. But this was actually a fun movie. I do like it, and I recommend getting this. Obviously, if you're seeing this, you're probably like, well, I like the hard shell box. That would be cool. I would say if you order from Orbit, they actually tell you hard slipcase. They'll let you know, because if you go on Amazon and get this, it's a shot in the dark. There's a chance you could get it, and then when you get it in the mail, you're just going to get this. And I can understand that frustrating collectors, especially if you know that it did have something like this. But it's actually a funny movie, okay? So I like it. Not as much as Mistress of the Dark. I'm pretty sure I've talked about Mistress of the Dark a few times, but, Haunted Hills today. So cheers to that. Really like that movie. Next up, guys, I got to recommend this title from the good folks at TerraVision. I never did a review on this. I probably should have, but the fact of the matter is it's in here, which will probably get the same amount of eyeballs, hopefully a little bit more. So being a big found footage fan, I love the style of a found footage that takes place through technologies. For instance, today there's movies like Missing and things like that are all done through Skype, unfriended. But if you're going to do that in a retro way, one of the cool ways to do that is through newscasting and showing a news broadcast. Now, we saw that being done with Ghostwatch from 101 Films. Ghostwatch to me was terrifying, scared the shit out of me. But I love that. So there's another movie that takes place during the 90s, or the late 80s, doing a broadcast, and that is the WNUF Halloween special. Now, this came out from Vinegar Syndrome, I think, initially. I could be off on this, so I hate to be ignorant. But I know that TerraVision has the rights to it now. But what's so great about this is the slipcover is amazing. So this should look familiar to you guys. Let's see. Yeah, this should look familiar to you guys, this Blu-ray. But this slipcover is so gorgeous, I can't even help myself. Look at the artwork on that. You got the mummy on there. It's just gorgeous. It looks like this beautiful old newspaper ad. There's more art on the back with the the news anchors and things like that. This is probably one of the nicest slips I've ever seen in my life. There comes a point to where you make your slipcovers and things look so good that even if you're not super interested in slipcovers and things like that, it wins you over. So this won me over. So big time. Love that. That movie's great. They made it feel so authentic, and it gets really suspenseful, so I enjoyed that. All right, guys, last but not least, I want to talk about this because I just reviewed Bruiser. That video may have been out a while from now already, so please check out the review on Bruiser if you haven't, which was a latter George Romero film from 2000, which I really liked. But this was a movie that George did in the 70s that got lost, and it wasn't until a few years ago that the master was found. The movie was put out on Shudder, and then they subsequently put out a Blu-ray release. And I love the slipcover for this. I wish mine had come in better condition. But I want to talk to you guys about the Amusement Park. This is technically not a horror movie, but it is in the sense that it messes with your mind. The Amusement Park was a 75? It was sometimes in the 70s, guys. I'm looking for a date, but I'm sorry. I do apologize. I can't find it. This Blu-ray came out in 2020, but it hit Shudder. I watched it on Shudder. I like this movie a lot. It's a really mind-bending movie. Let me read you the plot synopsis. It's very short. Recently discovered and restored 46 years after its completion, George A. Romero's The Amusement Park stars Martin's Lincoln Mazel as an elderly man who finds himself disoriented and increasingly isolated as the pains, tragedies, and humiliations of aging in America are manifested through roller coasters and chaotic crowds. It's a really weird movie, but if you watch it, put the phone away, turn the lights out, and it's just like it's going to really mess with your mind and your perception of reality and the way you think about life. And it's actually a really interesting movie, and when I watched it, I remember watching this, and I remember saying to myself, it's so funny because people like to really see George's movies as having social commentaries and things like that, which I think is sometimes arguable, but that's for a lot of movies. Some people could say, oh, this movie's completely a social commentary movie, and other people are like, you're reading way too much into that. But what's so interesting to me is I do think George has points he's getting across in his movies. I don't know if it would be so much called social commentary films. Obviously, when you watch Day of the Dead, he's trying to say that even in the worst, he's trying to talk about the nature of the human, the humans. Like, even in the worst of the situations where the world is apocalyptic and there's zombies everywhere, people still naturally don't trust each other. They can't work together, that sort of thing. But the Amusement Park, when I watched this is me saying, this is George really trying to talk about the realities of getting older, the realities of how people look at you and things like that. And I thought it was a brilliant movie. I really did. It's not going to be for everybody, but do me a favor. Trust me on this and take the plunge. And what's really cool about this slipcover, make sure you get this with the slipcover, is the whole face is, you can see the rising of it. It's all embossed, and it's a really cool slipcover. It's funny because now, like, these TerraVision people have made me interested in slipcovers, and for some reason this is a shade darker than the slip. I don't know why, like the color scheme on the Blu-ray. But yeah, very interesting movie, guys. So check that out. There it is, guys. I really hope you appreciate that or enjoy that. I mean, I appreciate you watching. I hope you enjoy that. If you have any questions, please drop it down below. And if you enjoyed the show, I just ask that you just drop a like on the video and comment your thoughts and things like that. This is your old pal CHH, guys. Thank you for sticking with me for over 12 years now. Let's keep it going because We may change and get older, but our love for these great movies never dies. Thank y'all for watching, and I'll see you next time. Huge, giant thank you to all of my Patreon supporters. Without you guys, this would not be possible. To get behind-the-scenes photos, videos, music, private live streams, and much more, you can subscribe to my Patreon for as little as $1 a month. Thank you to my patrons.